What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for tuning in for another fantastic live stream. We're going to be looking at a lot of earnings coming out this week. A lot of the earnings that, again, we're not going to be talking about the Apple, the Amazons, and things like that. We're going to be talking about the ones that are being kind of under the spotlight. Again, we're going to be like NIO is one of the largest ones. We have LYFT coming out. We also have like DraftKings on a Friday AM. We have Simon Properties. We got Workhorse. We got Marriott. We have all kinds of different various sections within the economy that is going to be in full swing of things. Again, it's not going to be the crazy, insane amount of action that you normally see from these very large tech companies. But again, there's a lot of plays that a lot of folks have been investing quite a bit of money in and just really looking for some really great returns, especially the one we're talking about the most is honestly NIO is just been one that's been really off the chain. And as of right now of 9:16 p.m. here on the East Coast, the S&P 500 is up nearly 1.5 points, or nearly 48 to 50 points. So the market is going in a pretty large bull mode, even with the so depending on who you're looking at, the elections being somewhat over, if you're depending on what stance you're taking on that, and seeing how that overall plays out. But that's definitely going to be some very interesting times to go forth and see on how current President Trump deals with that outcomes and so forth going forth. Another couple ones I wanted to point out, we have Purple coming out. I know a lot of folks that have been pinging me have been looking at what to do with Purple. I think the SmileDirectClub, that was one that's kind of been underperforming as well, and that's kind of really came back in pretty full steam, but it being a little bit of a lackluster of a stock sometimes. If anyone feedback, if people have anything on those stocks going forth. JJ says, he's the first one here, says, can we look at QQQ, the triple Qs, and then DraftKings? Also, what's your opinion on long-term option calls? I have a couple Apple calls expiring January 22 and with the strike price of 120. JJ, I think that's a fantastic call, depending on how long you had those particular options. That is definitely one that has been really, again, it's Apple. Everyone loves the AirPods, so they've been kind of selling like hotcakes there. But yeah, I do love long-term calls, honestly. I love buying leaps, honestly. That's a great way of just using a capital more efficiently rather than just buying 100 shares of stock. But you have to kind of know what you're doing, though. You can't just randomly just start poking around and buying strike prices that might not even be executed, or there's no open interest, or not buying it further enough out. All kinds of different various components really coming into that. Yeah, NIO is reporting on the 17th. Not according to this chart, which it does say here. Let me pull up NIO here, my charts. It is saying, they're saying the 17th. So this is the wrong week that I have posted here. Holy moly. You are so right. I have the wrong week. Whoopsies. That's embarrassing. How did I get this screenshot? Where did I pull the screenshot from? I think I pulled the wrong screenshot. I put it in the clip there. I think I pulled the wrong. I had the. That's when I didn't have the proper thing labeled. So that's a little embarrassing. Well, so yeah, I have that all messed up. Oh my gosh, I feel completely dumb there. I pulled the wrong screenshot. Okay, hold on. That completely throws everything off here for me. Might be, let's see here. Let's see here. Twit. Must have pulled that from this file. Earnings. There we go. There we go. That makes more sense. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Let's just change this around real fast. I'm sorry, I'm doing this on the fly. I appreciate that who called me out on that. That was a really dumb call on my behalf. Boop. Let's see, go here. There, position, back, download. Got to completely update that. That is silly Ken there. Silly Ken for the another one. Was looking at the completely wrong stream. I appreciate that. Thanks, Alan, for joining, my friend. Yeah, I'm updating the chart right now here. Yeah, I have to edit and post. It's definitely going to be. I just don't want to mislead anyone. That's my biggest fear on YouTube is giving out the wrong information, and I literally just did that. So yeah. So let me just update that. So yeah, it's some of the same companies, but it's a little bit different because I wanted to hint Lemonade. I wanted to talk about Purple, and then Juna. Workhorse is definitely on there as well, but I missed NIO. They did move their earnings up a little bit. But that being said, that has been changed. That has been updated now. So I feel a little bit more easier on that. So yes, I apologize for that. And thank you for pointing that out, my friend. Without that being further ado, we can just look at NIO real fast while we're talking about it. Of course, NIO has been a very, 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 very powerful stock here once again, really just kind of going off to the races here and seeing it again, having a absolutely move here in the last coming week. Again, I think a lot of folks have seen the videos on YouTube, and of course, just really just seen it on their news feed or anything. Just really seeing it on the daily market moves. It's really been pretty crazy. Just seeing that 5 and 8 moving averages just continue to rocket higher here, and really trade on that 5 EMA, which is that white line we're seeing here, and just really hit that Fibonacci retracement here around $42.20. It's a very key level. Again, it's a Fibonacci sequence of 423%. Again, this was a very large move to the upside, and with that huge explosion, again, this stock was $1.50 or something like that a year ago, and due to just heavy investments from the Chinese government, and just really hitting the ball right down the middle of the plate and just hitting a home run and just being in the right place at the right time in the EV market, NIO just really captured the market, and everyone loves the story, and just really kind of riding it higher. With that being said, there is again, with earnings coming out, not this week, the following week, we're looking for some potential kind of trading sideways. Again, with the overall market being up, like we just talked about, well over 1.5% nearly, it could easily run to 45 to even 50 in this meantime. Again, those are a little bit more loosely numbers again, and you just have to be ready for kind of anything, and really potentially see on how everything plays out. But yeah, definitely something to be looking out for. And thank you so much for pointing out that my thumbnail was completely wrong. I really do mean that. Let's see. Roland one says, I like SDC. That sounds familiar. SDC. Maybe I don't know this one. What is this one? Is this a cannabis play? This looks like a cannabis stock-ish. What is this? It just kind of been beaten up here. Roland one. Let's see here. Oh, this is SmileDirect. Okay, sorry. SmileDirectClub is, okay, this is the one that we were just talking about. I think I have to look at the earnings here thing now because I'm totally thrown off. It does have earnings, does not here. I pulled the wrong picture. I pulled it from 3 months ago. Silly me. But with this one, let me just update the fibs here, and then we can kind of look at it. Running into earnings as well. It looks like it has earnings the following week. What does it say here? That has it on the 16th, so next week, yeah. With SmileDirectClub, of course, this one has kind of been somewhat beaten down due to the fact of, hey, we got a virus going on, and not many people are honestly probably going to the dentist. So they're just kind of like just sitting and waiting and seeing all the people with cavities and all kinds of things. But especially with their smile, people still have to be on the Zoom meeting, and they really want that nice, pretty, pearly white smile, all nice, straight teeth. I think this is definitely going to be one kind of, I don't understand the whole hype about it. You can educate me. I would love to learn more about this. With the last earnings, it looks like it didn't perform too well because it kind of came down here quite a bit, and even the previous one before that. But again, I'm really going to kind of nix those because, again, a lot of people were just hitting the sell button on anything and anything. But it had a nice rally after that. With that really nice rally from the previous low here, we kind of came up to that $10 or $11 range, which is a key level here on the 618 Fibonacci retracement. And then we hit that wall here around $13. With the earnings move, does it have weekly options? Yes, it does. So looking for about a move next week for about $2.16. Let's just call it like a little over $2. That can easily put us back up to that really key level to potentially break out. If this thing really wants to get up and going, we need to break past that $13.99 level, or sorry, $12.99 level to kind of get to that $15 level, which is the previous high before the virus and everything. It was really going gangbusters. And just really just got crushed in half here. But again, I think they, correct me if I'm wrong, they have a fairly large folks in China that they have a lot of stations or clinics they have in China, correct? It does seem like a Tesla copycat, not sure. I think with the, I think you're talking about NIO, but yeah. Thoughts on Walmart hitting 155 by this week, Andrew? That's going to be a difficult one because I normally don't trade in a very short period of time like that. But 155, what is the options market saying? They're saying about a $3.78 move, just rounded to $4. And the options makers are saying most likely not. Again, that would have to be a larger than a 2 deviation move for Walmart to hit 155 this week, because again, that would be implying a move about well over $10, and they're only looking for a couple bucks. So something really has to come out. They have to have giving everyone in the United States a free brand new PlayStation, but something to be definitely looking out for there. Christopher, thank you for joining, my friend. I just started a new SDM position. Nice. Thoughts near the term move? Yeah, I don't know too much like on the fundamental side of SmileDirectClub. I know I've heard them on a couple positions and talking about things, but regarding the chart, it's kind of been choppy, and especially with earnings coming up, I have to warn caution just because of that. A says, thoughts on Tesla, the near-term move? Yeah, we're going to look at Tesla. So Tesla kind of just been in a very, very, very choppy mood. We're seeing that kind of hold that 21 EMA with that overall market sell-off that saw about a week ago. Again, right before the election, we saw that really kind of that steep sell-off again with the overall market, and just of course the very heavy tech stuff really kind of coming down, breaking past the 50-day, breaking the parabolic SAR dots, and looking for that move here. Looking at the Fibonacci sequence here, it looks like this got moved somehow. This goes here. Thank you. For the swing high to swing low, we hit that key level here, kind of holding that 395 level. Again, that one day we sold off quite a bit here. We got down to almost 380, where we did break past 380. I was looking to add potentially at 370 with that huge sell-off. Again, full disclosure, I'm a long-term investor in Tesla. I've been in it for quite some time, and my cost average would have to go well past like 200 for me to actually start losing money. So this is where my priorities are coming into, and that I'm saying I'm willing to add here at like 350, like I did previously, all the way over here because of that overall battery cadoofle and that selling off from that 5-to-1 split. It really kind of gave a great opportunity to add to the position. But with Tesla now, we're kind of coming back up with the overall market going higher. We are seeing that potential move here. Key level here at 436. The key level I'm really looking for Tesla to break is really above that 465. It has not been able to really break out of that ever since the split. And if we get any kind of a large bull move and continue support of these larger EV companies, of course, Tesla being, I think, the #1 leader in the EV movement, looking forward to break that 465. But to the downside, we're looking for some support around 416 and then around 395 on Tesla. Yes, James, he had GameStop for forever. Well, he had diamond hands for sure on GameStop, and he made it big. Did anyone else see theirs coming? I am annoyed. Thought they would have stayed low for at least 6 months or longer, and then was going to build a position over that time. I know, Alan. It honestly was the luck of the draw. A couple folks, especially Alpaca, and a couple other folks within the Discord were just like, what is it, pushing it on me? But I ended up, when the IPO came out, I just bought a couple shares and just said I won't touch it for a while. But then over the last coming weeks, a lot of people got a lot of attention. A lot of people were picking it up. And of course, I don't think anyone saw that large move coming unless you knew something. But it had a substantial move the last couple days. We can look up PLTR here with that large move up nearly to $15. So what a move, right? Can we look at ZS? Yeah, is that Zscaler? I like Zscaler. This stock, again, I think this is the one that a lot of folks don't really know about, and it's just kind of been one that's kind of been like lurking, with hitting that high, kind of like Tesla has. Not like Tesla; it's not the same company. It's a software SaaS company here, but with that large move higher and then not really kind of getting out of its own way, giving a lot of it back due to the market sell-off and just people just selling things blindly, and now really seeing it come back, potentially seeing an earnings run, and we are seeing the 5 and 8 cross through of it, and potentially looking for a potential overhead resistance around the 158 to 160 into earnings. But again, earnings is coming out the first week of December, so be mindful about that. Austin says, car stock, I've done told you $100 stock. You done told me. You got there. Excuse me. Carrier Global Corporation. That's a beautiful looking chart there, my friend. Yeah, that is fantastic looking. Why is there no earnings numbers above that? That's weird. It usually has a number above it, but that's a little weird. Anywho, yeah, that's a beautiful looking stock. That has continued to hold the 21 EMA and just can't continue to grind up here. I'm actually going to write that on my list. So thank you, Austin, for that one. That's a cool looking chart there, to lack of better words. But yeah, wow. Macho PLTR advertised heavily on Wall Street Journal. Really? They advertise for like their enterprise business. James Love says, is gold and silver sent to break out? I'm not really the biggest silver bug, but gold is definitely trying to break out here. By breaking out is trying to break some key levels. If you're looking at GLD, again, which is a Spider Gold ETF trust, if it breaks above 185, that would be a breakout to potentially get to 190. But a lot of the gold miners reported great earnings last week, so this is a really strong move for gold going higher there potentially. Yeah. But downside support we're seeing here, kind of a double bottom. You see I have an alert if it breaks below 175 there. We had a good luck with SDMC sell before earnings. Yeah, I think, again, I don't like the whole short-dated calls into earnings, but yeah. Charlie, did I miss NIO? You did, but we can kind of cover NIO real fast again because a lot of folks have just kind of perused and jumped on board here. With NIO, this is, again, an absolutely rocket ship the past week here, and really just being like, count your blessing, count your chips. Potentially take some chips off the table if you're up a very large position here. It's hitting a key fib number here. Can it still run? Yes. I'm not going to tell it can't. I'm not going to tell it it's going to stop running. It's not showing any signs of selling off or slowing down. By slowing down, it's going to start breaking below the 5 or 8 EMA on the daily chart. That would be significant signs of slowing down. It's kind of hitting a little of a 2-day pause here. Again, this could maybe just kind of let the longer dated moving averages to kind of slowly catch up and get that boost higher to potentially get up to 52. But again, it has earnings coming out next week, so be very careful about that. I think everybody is going to short Biotech. What do you think about it? I do honestly terrible shorting things. Honestly, I'm actually terrible on shorting stocks. So yeah, I normally don't do it. If I do short stock, I'll short the Nasdaq, the Qs, or SPY. Alan, you did get a lot. Okay, that's good. You got a small position, yeah. You're YOLing in PLTR. Well, good luck, my friend. Did I miss Workhorse? No, you did not miss Workhorse. Let's go ahead and look at the old Workhorse. With Workhorse, of course, with a lot of these newer SPACs and ETF spin-offs of electric companies, we had the huge sell-off going lower. Kind of finding a little bit of support here on the 144 EMA here on the daily chart, kind of bouncing here. Now we're trying to build a base here around that $17 range. But this is definitely something to be considering about looking for this potentially to hold here. Again, we like these base building mentalities where it kind of just builds a very long base here. And we start seeing the moving averages stop pointing down. Of course, we've seen the shorter dated moving average between the 5 and 8 slow down here and trade sideways. We're seeing the 21, which is the yellow line, starting to kind of slow down here as well, and potentially not continue to bleed to the downside. So that's going to be something to be very well aware of there. I mean, look at that. Excuse me, SBE, is it? Smile. Did we just do that? Oh, what the heck is this? SDWS. Oh, Switchback Energy. Okay, this is the one that's kind of coming out on a lot of pings for me. Again, by pings, I mean folks hitting me up on Twitter or whatever, emailing me within the Discord, asking about the stock. This is definitely one of those new SPACs that kind of is making its rounds back. I'm not sure 100% the story about it because I haven't really done too much digging into this one. But this is something to do with EV market, right? With this large move higher, again, pretty generic here with the overall SPAC kind of play. It's just kind of been trading sideways around that $10 marker, but then had that huge pump higher in one day and just kind of bounced around a little bit. With that overall sell-off that we saw a week ago before the election, kind of took it down, hitting that 50-day, now bouncing hard, looking for a potential breakout. Again, what a breakout would mean is be breaking above that 1760 level, and we can kind of give some Fibonacci numbers from that level. So from that 17.6 level to down to around that 1265, we're looking for some key levels. If this can continue to break, we're going to be looking for 1882 to around $20 to the upside. But of course, to the downside, we're looking for some initial support around $15 to around $14.50 there, my friend. Blue, what's up, my friend? How you been? Looking at Zoom. Yeah, let's look at Zoom. This has definitely been one that has been, of course, center of the attention ever since the virus. Again, this stock was, let's see, I don't know. It was like $80 this time last year. Now it's trading for around about $500 exactly. So this has been a great return if you've been a longer term investor in this. Even just in the short term, if you just held it for the last 3 or 4 months, you're up double, nearly 100%. With this large move here, we are seeing it kind of, again, this is going to be very common to a lot of stocks that we're going to be looking at today. And if you're looking at most of the tech industry, you're going to be seeing that really strong sell-off again into the election. Because again, everyone was just throwing their hands up and just not knowing what's going to happen. And they were just kind of sit on their hands and potentially see on how the cards fall. With that, we did see that bounce off that 50-day here, really rocketing higher here, kind of bouncing the past 2 or 3 days here. And now we're seeing the 5 and 8 potentially to cross over here. If we get a break above that 511 to 512, we can easily see a break higher to kind of potentially test the 545 to even make its way up to 600. Earnings is a little bit away here towards the end of the month, so we could have a somewhat of an earnings run kind of start up this week into next week to potentially see some of those folks jumping into those stocks there. Austin, thank you for sharing that chart. That's a great looking chart. A lot of shorts on GLD and associated with a lot of liquidity. Yeah, there's a lot of liquidity in those gold stocks, without a doubt. NIO is going down because Europe is shut down and they aren't performing as well as they did without the pandemic going on. Yeah, we'll see. Alex Lee, again, it's a Chinese company and they can add zeros. Alex Lee says Upwork, we did ACB. Let's look at ACB. There's also one that I was hearing a lot about. That is a weed company, right? Yeah, of course, this is a lot of these MJ pot stocks or whatever have been really kind of coming through due to the fact of, I believe, New Jersey and another state that just allowed recreational usage of this of the stuff. And then now, of course, with a more of a Democratic seating president potentially, or is, we are seeing potentially maybe laxing up on these particular rules here, even though I believe there wasn't too much of a move here. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is when I see this right here. It was a 1 to 12 stock split. So I don't usually like that. That's how they try to inflate the price. Not meaning, so for every one share you have, now you have 12. So that kind of really kind of skewed with the numbers. But now we're seeing that pattern go all the way back down again to around that the pre-split kind of level, but we're seeing that pop up higher. But this one is still again, I don't know which one of these are winners or who's going to perform better. So like the airline stuff, just buy an ETF that kind of tracks the things that you like. And just look at this, like MJ is a ETF that I track and look at. I don't trade it because I'm not allowed to in my personal accounts, but it's looking for a potential breakout if it gets above that $14 level there. And it can get a lot of momentum going if a lot of people starts buying into it, of course. Riot is a Bitcoin miner, playing the wheel on it every week I can. You're playing the wheel. So Riot, is that the one? Is it this one or is it another one that ARK Investing is buying? Was it Riot? They're buying, maybe it's Grayscale or Gray something. With this one, yeah, that's just a little too choppy. With earnings kind of just bouncing around here, it looks like it has some kind of support here around like the 250 to 260 level. Kind of going forth with a long base here. We had a kind of a bounce off the 144 EMA here, which is the green line, to kind of kick up higher. But this is definitely too much of a very speculative play there. Let's leave it at that camp. Austin says Tilray. Austin, come on, man. This is the stock that I actually shorted way back when it was 300. Of course, all these Mary Jane stocks. So this is stock literally went crazy because it was talking about and working with a company out of Canada and kind of reforming itself into becoming a huge player here in the United States or something like that. But this is definitely something that was way overblown, went all the way to $300, and ever since then has just been grinding lower until its current price, which has kind of just been popping around the $9 to $10 range for a while, but then getting back down to well below $5. Of course, now we're seeing a little bit more positive news spinning their way. This potentially could run again in front of earnings. I'm not going to be buying a very speculative play, something that is currently still federally illegal here in the United States. And then, of course, this falls in a category of just being too risky for me. If you want to put in very small percentage size, that's what I would do. You know I love CMG, Dow Jones. You know I love my Chipotle. My Chipotle. I need to get Chipotle to sponsor the stream. So with Chipotle, it's kind of been having a little bit of issues here on the chart side. Even with his last earnings, it was fairly strong because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, they didn't give guidance, and people don't like that. Even though it was a really strong quarter, they just didn't give guidance. And going out, usually companies, when they report, they'll give a guidance on what they could see, some projections or some sales numbers, or normally with a restaurant company, they're going to be looking at same store sales growth, which is basically how many times do people come back to repeat? Are sales growing per store? All that kind of metrics, which is very important for this kind of industry. They weren't giving it out. And a lot of investors and mostly the folks on Wall Street, they know likey that. And they kind of put their heads down and just said, no. We do not like that. Please give us the numbers. Of course, they kind of got hit on that because of that. But again, they literally have made a V-shaped recovery. Now it's kind of trading, excuse me, back where it was. Looking for this potentially to kind of test its previous high here above that $1,300 to potentially $1,400 price target there, because I love my CMG. Hey King, can you look at ARRY? I've never heard of it, and it was popped up a little, went like bananas. ARRY. Yeah, I never heard of this as well. This looks like it was like a newer IPO. Just traded sideways for a little bit, came out on IPO, then traded sideways, and then had a huge pop up. It looks like potentially on earnings. But yeah, there's not really too much to be trading on this, because again, on the daily chart, you're just looking at the chart right now. We're literally talking, this has been trading for about like a little over 2 weeks. So there's really not too much to add on it there. But just something, if it's a speculative play, you're doing very well there. Oscar saying NIO to the moon. What's up, Wesley? I haven't been seeing you for a while. How you been, my friend? Looks like a put. Okay, hold on. My thing just updated again. Is Nikola still on NYSE? I have no idea. When is Nikola reporting? Did they report already? Or they are reporting? They're reporting this week, right? They're reporting Monday. Yeah, I wouldn't want to touch Nikola with a 10-foot pole. Like, let's just be honest. Like, I don't want to touch that. I don't want to touch that. That's just a big no for me. If you're not familiar with it, go Google it around. You can watch multiple videos on discussing on folks and talking about between the fraudulent video to misleading folks to all kinds of different various things. I really don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Yeah, I think NIO has definitely a lot of room to run. I think so. But yeah. Toyota 2GG says about Beyond. Yeah, BYND is also one that is coming out this week. Again, this is the faux meat. Again, those are the folks that are making, or they're really signing with some larger companies. I think, what's recently? They just signed with Starbucks? Was it Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts? It's one of the two, because again, it's basically the two largest ones is Beyond Meat and the Impossible Burger. So the Impossible Meat packagers got bought out by Nestle. And then Beyond Meat still its own independent cohort on that front, but it's one of the more popular ones. With this move here, we had the huge sell-off. Again, for whatever reason, you can put a story on it, but it's bouncing off the 144 EMA, just like we saw at multiple other stocks. With earnings coming out, I really don't want to be getting into this. We did have a position on it. We did actually get into it around like the 129 level, and we rode it all the way up. We took some off at 165 and actually at 185. But then when it came back down to 165, we had to close out the position for a gain, of course, because we bought most majority of it down here. But this has definitely been kind of been really beaten up. I definitely want to see on how earnings comes out and see how it plays. Because again, I believe, if I remember right, they did undercut some of their margin because they want to gain market share, and a lot of people didn't really agree with that. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Kev T says TSM, please. Thank you for saying please, and I love the smiley face, my friend. So TSM, what can I say about this one? So full disclosure, I am a long leaps on this. I am a long-term investor on this one and AMD. I'm seeing this one to potentially go well above $100 to $121. So those are my targets, but those are talking to hold for at least a year or two. With those movements again. So TSM is a very unique stock. So how TSM usually trades, it kind of just does like this weird like step ladder kind of pattern, I call it, or stair steps, where it just builds a base, moves higher, builds a base, moves higher, builds a base, moves higher. And we're kind of seeing that potentially play out here with this really just kind of like huge move higher, building a base. Now it's starting to get into that second, third step to potentially move higher to break above 95, potentially to $100 in the near side terms there. But yeah, I love TSM long term. Downside support, which I'm currently looking at here, why did I do that? Is looking for around that support around the $84 price target. It's going to be some significant support, which kind of is right below the 34 EMA and right above the 50 SMA here. Looking at those potential time frames and the short-sighted support there. Nikola would drop on December 3rd when all the insiders are fed up with selling their shares. They have a lockout date on Camp Tesla for Nikola on December 3rd? I didn't know that. Really? That'll be an interesting one to watch. Everyone at my college paid an arm and a leg for Beyond Meat. Like they bought the stock, or they're just buying the meat for it. TSM is awesome. Playing earnings is like playing Russian roulette sometimes, yes. Unless you're a longer term investor, then you have to kind of go through the waves of the earnings as well. Please review GRWG. That sounds like a pot stock. And if it has a huge move on, what is this? This is interesting. Looks like some kind of marijuana, right? Is this marijuana? With that move here, again, we saw that significant move at previous high around $22. It did break above that, so that's a fantastic move there. Looking at a chart perspective here, if it can build a base here around the 22-ish range here, it can get easily to 25. But if this trend can hold and stay basically above that 19 to 1850 price target, the next prices we're going to be looking for around is on 25 to around $29 to the upside. Definitely something to be well aware of that. But again, it's got earnings coming out, so be super mindful of that buying into there as well. Jeff, how you doing, my friend? You're looking at for CRSP. Let's look at that one. CRSP. This is CRISPR. This is like the genetics thing, majigger, right? Where they can like sequence DNA in certain ways really fast. Yeah, this one's a lot of the biotechs and stuff like it's been really choppy here lately, and we're really seeing that kind of pattern coming in here as of right now. Looks like I had earnings already. Looking for a potential move higher here. This is definitely something to be looking out for. With the last couple of days has been a pretty strong move higher here. We're looking for 105 to potentially to break to around 112. But this is definitely something to be very mindful about on those, knowing your previous highs and lows. Initial support is going to be kind of coming into this choppy pattern here. If we just kind of draw a line through here, we're looking for some support around $90, and then around $95 going to be some pretty key supports to the downside there. But it looks like the overall momentum is pretty strong here. But again, it is chop, and it is within like the biotech pharmaceutical kind of thing. So if it gets one bad article, one bad news, they can just drop like a bag of potato chips. That makes no sense, I know, but I want some potato chips right now, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. Yeah, TSM it touches everything. You're very right, Christopher. Yeah, TSM is a great stock. That's how I believe it. It's a hydroponics supplier. I mean, that's a good business to be in, with a lot of people growing their own stuff at home and other various companies that are trying to manufacture stuff like that. Yeah, China does believe they own Taiwan, so that's definitely a political. It's like a Mexican standoff. Like I don't want to be part of that. Like I don't want to be there when the gun starts blazing. Anthony NG says CSIQ, please. Thank you so much. I love your work. Thank you, my friend. You're looking for CSIQ, which I've never heard of this. This is a very simple company. It's called Canadian Solar. Okay. Of course, the solar stocks, which I've been trying to get into. I've been buying and looking at TAN. No, did do this one? Yeah. This is the solar ETF that I've been looking into, but I haven't pulled the trigger on. But because solar has been kind of a gangbusters. This is a good looking chart right here, my friend. It has been a little bit choppy again, but the whole market's been choppy. Let's be honest. The whole market's been choppy the past like 2 weeks again, with the overall everyone just biting their nails on the elections and what's going to happen, with that huge sell-off and kind of really strong fluctuations in pricing here. With that, we are seeing a nice little movement. The squeeze is still in play here, with the momentum going higher here. We are seeing the 5 and 8 potentially still crossing above the 21 EMA, which is fantastic. I actually like this play. The only indication I'm not the largest fan of, we could get an earnings run into the 19th. This is something that I could be looking for at a potentially just like a trade idea. I'm not going to be the biggest fan of holding this into earnings. If this can stay above that $40 price target, that can easily hit 42 to 45 if it really gets a really strong earnings run and gets a lot of wind in its sails to kind of push it through before earnings. So this is something I really don't want to be speculating on going into earnings. Again, if everyone hasn't watched the channel, earnings for me, especially in the short dated side, especially if you have options that are less than 60 days, it can really be a dream killer. So be very careful about that. Christopher says, can we look at WIX, please? And thank you for saying please. That's Wix, right? That's a little online company thing with Jigger where people can create a website. Yeah, this is a strange looking chart. So this has just been super choppy here. And we're seeing that really kind of come through with his last quarter. Kind of was mixed. It looked like it didn't have the world's greatest reaction. Let's see here. Had a lot of issues around 300. Then had some more issues around 285. And now it's potentially getting back up to that 618, which is the orange line. Moving here. If we can get any kind of movement higher above that 289, that would be great. But again, heads up, we do have earnings, so be very careful on that one, Christopher. I'm not going to be the largest bull on it until we start hearing from earnings. We are seeing the 5 and 8 kind of cross through it, but it has just kind of been in this like overall kind of like choppy market, and I really don't want to be jumping out in front of this right away, if you know what I mean. Eddie C, did I miss NIO? You did, but we'll do it again just for you, my friend. So NIO, of course, has earnings on the 17th. I tied the wrong thing on the chart. If you watched the beginning of the channel, I put the wrong screenshot in. Anyways, that being said here, NIO has been on a tear. That rocket ship's going higher, looking for potentially some stalling or some kind of trading sideways around 42.20. But if we get any kind of positive movement, which we are currently seeing in the market, again, the S&P 500 is up nearly, or is up nearly 52 points, or a bucket, or 1.5%. This is easily could take it up higher. With an earnings run in mind, this could go all the way up to 52 to even higher. But this is definitely a very, very stock that has been a lot of buying pressure. But once people start wanting to start taking profits, this could easily come down fairly fast. Initial short-dated support is going to be around $38, and then looking for potential stronger support around 35.80 there. Jordan says, can we look at DraftKings? Oh, yes, I forgot to do that one, didn't I? Might be. With DraftKings, so I don't know. Did I see GTFO join the channel? So this is one that's been burnt. I've been burnt by so many times. By so many times, I mean like at least 3 times this year, maybe 2 times. I don't know. It just seems too much. I just have like PTSD when I have to deal with it, and it just like it triggers me. But with DraftKings, online gambling, which sports gambling, I don't watch sports, so it's nothing really, not my cup of tea here. But with it really growing and expanding, I think that between this and Penn are probably the bets and plays if you want to be in that particular sector or the cohort of stocks. But it is trying to kind of come around. We did see a strong bounce here off the 200 EMA here on the daily chart, with a strong bounce here kind of hitting that 21 EMA, but kind of stalling out at that previous Fibonacci retracement around $43.30 there. Of course, with the overall market, like we just talked about, going potentially higher, this is, of course, going to be taking the tide with it, and potentially seeing that movement potentially get above that 43. Full disclosure, look out. There is earnings coming out on the 13th, which the 13th falls on a Friday. So be very mindful of that as well when you're creating a position or any kind of outlook that you're thinking about. Fong, do we look at an INO? We have not. If INO is correct, that is a drug manufacturer, correct? Of course, really kind of fighting with the pandemic and creating a bigger, larger virus. Oh my gosh, vaccine. There it is. Usually not my best thing to play these because of just the potentials of it doing nothing. And I've learned my lessons playing pharmaceutical stocks. Yes, if you're on a winner, those are fantastic. But more often than none, you're going to be just playing and just really getting your butt smacked around, and not in a good way. Really just seeing that movement not really go your way. You're really just kind of holding your breath and kind of waiting for some good news to come out. That's just my honest opinion on it. But with INO, it just kind of has this huge move higher, goes down, huge move higher, just goes down. It just kind of getting some smaller heartbeats. So potentially some selling targets would be around $12 to around that $14 range if it cannot get out of its own way from there. Vincent, what's up, my friend? Hey, I've been looking at for some long term when you see a market descend. What do you think about please ROL, switch DHL? Thanks, man. I don't know any of those actually. I feel terrible. I'm sorry. DR Horton. DR Horton, that's a home builder, right? Am I thinking of it right? Is DR Horton? That sounds familiar. Yeah, home builders got hit. But DR Horton, I think, is a pretty good play here, especially with the home building stuff. Like Zillow just killed it. I don't know if you guys saw Zillow's earnings. Um, it's some key levels here because, again, it had a large move higher, had that chop, but again, due to market volatility, shook a lot of people out, took it much lower than it should have gone. And now it's seeing it kind of break out to potentially hold 72 with earnings on the horizons. Be careful about that. But if this trend can continue, we're still looking for $85 plus. Eddie C says AMD, please and thank you. Yeah, AMD, sorry. Okay. My chat's just kind of jumping around here. 1 second, sorry. Scrolling here. With AMD, full disclosure, long-term investor here as well. Really love the semiconductor industry. With this move with AMD, again, they are really taking market share away from Intel. So Intel is further declining, I think, due to the fact of, I think, is it Monday or Tuesday? Correct me if I'm wrong, someone out there on the internet tube, that Apple has their new CPU showcase conference or webinar or whatever you want to call it now. They have their Zoom call to show off their new ARM processors, which I think TSM has a part of. So again, TSM has got all their hands in different cookie jars. So I think they're just, for me, it's a really large clear winner there. But with AMD is also a winner due to the fact of it just really just taking market share away from Intel. We are seeing potentially some overhead resistance around 86 to around $90 previously, but with a large bull move and some volume coming in, we can easily see it test its previous high around 94 to 95. Short data support is going to be coming in around 84 to around $81 there as well. Brendan, would look at Palantir. Yeah, Palantir, we did talk about it. We can talk about it again. We got some more folks kind of jumping on into the call here. With this large move higher, we had the next overall ceiling of resistance around $15.50. That's going to be something that we were looking at for some overhead resistance. It got really close to it. It got up to $15. With such a large move higher in a very short period of time, I think a lot of people just got overhyped. They got picked up by a lot of news outlets. It got picked up on by a lot of day traders, all kinds of things. With this large move higher, it just kind of gave it some more an oomph. It kind of gave its little badge of honor to like, okay, I'm here to stay. I'm here to take names. Let's go. And potentially this can come down tomorrow. And by come down, it can come down all the way down. It can come all the way down to around $11.42, and the short-term trend will still be intact. Longer-term trend, it can come all the way down to around $10, and it still be just fine. But with the long-term decided goal, it's going to be around $15 to around $19 to the upside there, my friend. XPIV, yeah, XPIV is definitely one that has been is going to be ones that I'm watching out for. So X has it, I think it has been moved already. Lack of better words to kind of answer your question, it has moved. It has hit some key Fibonacci numbers at $37. I don't want to say where I bought this at, and I didn't hold it. I can actually prove it to you because let's see here. I'm going to pull up my Tastyworks account. So the Tastyworks is what I use to trade trade stocks. I bought it about 60 days ago. Let's see here. Where was it? I got stopped out of it, I think. Or something happened. Or what did I do? I had 50 shares of it at $19.50. So I had it right about in this area here. And then yeah, it just went skyrocketing. So kind of a little sore about that still. Not gonna lie, that hurt. Is it too late to get on the XPIV? I think on 1120 calls, that's a little too short dated for me as well, Michael. So I have to pass on that. I can't really talk about that. GME calls for console catalyst for next week. I don't know. Like the shorter dated calls a week or 2 weeks is a little too close for my to my partaking there, Michael. I'm sorry, I can't really comment too much on that because I normally don't buy weekly calls like that. Now and Ali blah blah. So ServiceNow is always one I look for and how it's playing. And this is oh my gosh, you guys are giving me a lot of trauma here today, and really seeing this moves here. ServiceNow, great SaaS company, looking for potentially going higher. Of course, got shaken out by the overall market, but potentially looking for breaking above the 540 to even to 600 there. Ali blah blah. Again, kind of got screwed by the Chinese government, which like most people do. Seeing this move go lower due to the ANT being canceled, the ANT payment system that they use really getting canceled here. Potentially looking for the 5 and 8 to break out above the 21 EMA to get any kind of further upside to kind of start getting it back into play. With earnings was fairly strong here. We are seeing a squeeze setting up here, so this could fire here long to get above 308. The next sided target is going to be really looking for around 320 to the upside there. Pelosi say we looked at NVIDIA. No, we have not looked at NVIDIA, but we looked at nearly every other semiconductor in the industry. NVIDIA, of course, has been a gangbusters as well. Really seeing this really kind of a W pattern, which is like swing higher, lower, and then higher again, potentially breaking out here to get above 620. This is a little bit further dated option or further dated earnings call. So around like the 18th, so next week. Depending again, we're talking about currently looking at the market up 50 points here on the S&P 500. We have the NASDAQ up 2%. So tomorrow, these guys are going to fly potentially. If something doesn't happen from now until the market open at 9:30, all these tech stocks that we've just covered for the past hour plus are really just going to be flying potentially tomorrow. It's going to be very difficult to get into these stocks because it's going to be really just flying off the rails. Man, a lot of people coming in now. 100K YOLO. Okay, let's see here. Okay, FOD. Okay. Okay, hold on. My chat just messed up like crazy. Looks like Christopher, one of the subscriber members, gave me a thing. You want to look at DPZ. Is that Domino's? Domino's Pizza. Of course, with that market volatility, it came down, hit off some key levels here. Now it's potentially coming back here. If we get the 5 and 8 and any kind of moves higher, we're going to be potentially looking for above $400 price target into next week to kind of see any kind of positive movement to go through there. A lot of ACB. What's ACB? Is it the Aurora or whatever? Yeah. So these weed stocks, again, I can't comment too much on them because I don't really trade them, don't know them in and out. For me, if I had to trade them or had to put a gun to my head, I would just buy an ETF that covers them all, because how do you really choose one over the other? If one goes under, you're somewhat secured or hedging against it in the sense of just owning the overall cohort rather than just owning one underlying name, especially in that industry that is pretty much illegal on the federal level. Someone says NNDM. Yeah, that's one that's kind of come up as well. I think ARK is buying this quite a bit here as well. With this one, had a huge run up, kind of failed again due to the market volatility. Now it's kind of building a base here around 34. Had a huge pop higher, hitting that 50% retracement from that previous low here. And then looking for, if it breaks above 420, no pun intended, we're talking about all those marijuana stocks, that could easily run its way up to around 5 plus, really hitting some key levels here. But if it gets a lot moving here, because we've seen it previously run up quite a bit, so just be very well aware of that. This is definitely something that could really run if it gets any kind of momentum or volume behind it. James Love, I love it. That's a great way to invest, right? Just get to collect that premium. I love the name of the portfolio too. OB, can IDEX reach $10? I don't know. I can't predict it, but we can look at some levels. So it's a penny stock, and sadly I don't look at penny stocks. It's gonna be too much there. Thank you. Someone mentioned Rocket. Thank you. Yes, let's look at Rocket. So Rocket Mortgages has earnings coming out as well. What day was that for them? It was like Tuesday or something like that. Yeah, Tuesday afternoon, I believe. They have earnings coming out there. Yeah, Tuesday afternoon. This kind of been choppy. Last quarter, it had too much of a run up, honestly, and it's got too many people flat footed. A little bit of the shaky knees syndrome, and people just really got beaten down of it. This is kind of the pattern that I like to see, and really see people really getting honestly killed by a stock, and then just kind of see it peter patter around here, kind of ping pong around some key levels here, then get dragged down even more with the overall sell-off before the election, and now kind of seeing it come back. With earnings on Tuesday, had to be somewhat hesitant to kind of tiptoe around here with your Jordans. If we get that 5 and 8 to cross through the 21 EMA, we can easily get a move pre-earnings to around 22, potentially. With earnings, does it have weekly options? It does. So we're looking for about a $3 move next week. So that's signaling potentially getting up to around that $22 to $23 level in the nearsighted term there. So be mindful of that, whatever, take that with a benefit of a doubt, but something to be mindful of, especially with Rocket Mortgage. We got low interest rates, a lot of people refinancing their house, a lot of people moving into houses due to the fact of having the capital to do so now. What do you think about Junie? Yeah, what's the ticker symbol for that? The South or African whatever, Amazon or whatever it is. Lisa says DHI, please. Okay, DR Horton. Yeah, we just did this one. So DR Horton has been beaten up here. I really love the home builders. I don't know which one's the best. I know a lot of people say Toll. Some people say, oh my gosh, I just drew a blank. That's with an S. Come on, Ken, you're smarter than that. What is it? It's LEN. Lennar. Yeah, Lennar. There's also another great. They're all trading somewhat the same here. With earnings coming out, potentially be very careful about that. DR, of course, with Zillow that we just saw, their earnings report was fantastic. People are buying homes. They love it. All kinds of fantastic stuff going forth. Shortage in homes in the United States still, but potentially looking for, again, earnings. Anything can happen. Be super careful. Be mindful of that. But looking for some initial support to kind of get out of this choppy mode and at least get above 75 potentially. JM, thank you. Okay. Thank you guys. You guys are so on it. I got the best Got the best members here. They're all about it. I love it. So this one has been a rocket ship. I don't know who it was. I should have written the names down. This guy was like pumping it up and telling me to get into the stock well around $6 here. And I had no idea what the company did. And I can't tell you how many stock requests I get on a daily basis from people. But holy moly, guacamole, I missed that one. And I still feeling a little bit of sour about it. But then it had a huge markdown for whatever reason. I don't follow the news on that. But now it has a huge run up into earnings. So I'm a little skeptical about it again because it had that huge run up to earnings previously. And we had that sell off due to earnings. So, but definitely something to be very careful about. Like usually when the stock has a huge run up into earnings, I'm a little skeptical about, but yeah. Andrew Left's price target is $100. Really? Andrew Left is long this stock? The short seller from California? Wow, good for him. I'm glad they're doing something good over there. Johnny, you're the guy? Yes, Johnny, I did read those posts. I did not give you a thumbs up or thumbs down, but thank you for sharing it. That is a fantastic move on Square. You did some fantastic due diligence on that, my friend. Cool Light says Etsy. Yeah, we can look at Etsy. I like Etsy because I like the overall Santa Claus rally, the holiday rally, whatever you want to call it. And I think especially retailers online and the stores are really going to be getting people coming to the stores and buying more things, especially with Etsy really expanding out on so many different components and this really like really buying some nice custom pieces depending on how you're looking at it. So we're seeing that 5 and 8 finally cross through the 21 EMA here, looking for some potential next overhead targets around 150. If we can get any kind of move above 150, that next target's going to be a 165 and above. I really like this. Short-dated support to the downside is going to be around 133, my folks. 133. Repeat, 133 to the downside for short-dated support. Ariel, what's up, my friend? ACB, we'll do ACB for you. I saw you. I knew. I did see your text. Don't worry, I'll read them. What did you say? ACB, not D. You should go to bed. Go to sleep. Aurora, as you know, the weed stocks, we gotta be a little careful out there with those. Normally, with these large moves higher, again, just look on the amount of volume that we had here on one given day. So if we switch over to this chart here, we're going to see the average volume. Normally, this would be concerning to look out on how this plays. But we're seeing, again, on average volume here, I can't even zoom into this. It literally says it's around 20 million shares traded on average. That son of a gun was trading nearly 455 million shares in one day. Of course, that was all the day traders flip-flopping around, but that is what a move there. And it just look how large this large candle is compared to all this stuff, and really how it plays out. But this is something, holy moly, guacamole. Is this a trend change? It could be. I don't know. I think you kind of knew my viewpoint a little bit on just rather just owning the cohort rather than just getting into a one share there as well. And I thank you, Ariel, for your sharing there. And of course, a lot of these stocks I know you're watching and just checking out as well. I know you're always scoping and looking for anything. And a lot of stocks that we've talked about are coming up on the live stream today. So PLTR is definitely on there a lot. You're already in bed? Oh, Kumar, thank you for becoming a live stream member. I appreciate that. Okay, looks like I'm making sure I don't miss anything. Looks like a lot of... I'm more surprised that Andrew Left is long a stock. That's like the head scratcher of the night. End time says STNE. Stone. I don't know what this company does, but it has some numbers on it. I must have covered it before. Um, this one going to the support level here, looking for initial targets around 64. This chart looks actually fairly well. Like, it looks great because, again, all the moving averages kind of going upwards to the right here. We are seeing the 34 EMA, 21 EMA still pointing up to the upside here, and really looking for some continued moves higher here. But it had, again, it's super hard to kind of nix this part out. I'm putting my hand on the screen right here and just looking at kind of ignoring this whole sell-off again. We had that huge sell-off into the whole markets, really scared a lot of people. It scared me. I'm not gonna lie, it did scare me. That selling off, because again, it was election, a lot of unknown stuff. But now, guess what? We woke up. We have all 10 fingers. Everything is doing somewhat okay. But something to be well aware about, of just like, hey, it happened. Let's just move forward, kind of scenario. All right, guys, you guys are coming in with, I got like a lot of people watching right now. I'm usually only have like 10 or 15 people on my live stream, so I appreciate everyone coming in and everyone just picking multiple stocks. I'm trying to keep up with everything. So if I do skip you, I really do apologize. Kumar, you said, can we please talk about Ali blah blah? What is my prediction? So I hope you know that I don't really like to do too many predictions, but something to be very well aware of on some key levels that we can be looking at here and moving forward. On Ali blah blah. Well, Ali blah blah really got hit. I'm pretty sure if you're in the stock, you've known that its IPO failed, or the spinoff of their ant IPO got failed. Somehow I don't think he's not even the CEO anymore. I think the Chinese Security Exchange government, whatever, made, what's the guy, Jack Mong, resign from being the CEO and chairman of Ali blah blah. And I think they spun off the Ant Group like 7-8 years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then we're looking for that move again with a strong quarter. And of course, if anyone's not familiar with Asian culture, which I'm not, honestly, I don't know jack crap about, but we got Singles Days coming up, guys. We got Singles Day, and again, that's like Amazon Prime Day for Asia. And that's definitely going to be something to really look out for, to really potentially bring up Ali blah blah, and seeing that really kind of print higher here. We are seeing some support kind of coming in here around 290 here. With that overall selling off here, we saw support really kind of coming in around 285, but 290 was strong here because that's the 78.6 percentile move, but looking for some higher movements potentially to 308 to 320 to the upside there. Okay, sorry, a lot of things are coming in here. Okay, Johnny says all cash, says Dell. Okay, yeah, is Dell the ticker symbol? So Dell was beaten up by a lot of other things here as well. Hit that level here around $70, which is a key Fibonacci retracement. So if I swing to a weekly chart here, so hopefully you can see this here, Johnny. So the swing high to swing low, again, this stock was trading all the way down to $25. Had a huge rocket ship recovery here, which I'm pretty sure you've been in it. Now hit this key level, which is its previous high at $70, and gave a lot of it back, but it didn't break another key level. It really didn't get substantially below $60. So it's still holding the 21 EMA here on the weekly side. But yeah, that is definitely a very strong number here on the weekly side. So if we go back to the daily side, that kind of is showing some support that bounced off the 144 EMA here, and seeing it kind of bounce off here. Kind of like Ali blah blah. If that 5 and 8 can aggressively cross through the 21, we can easily see a push up to $70. But again, heads up, there is earnings coming out there. But that's a good looking chart there, and has been a good looking chart for quite some time. Kind of got off the rails due to the overall market sell off. Max says OPTI. Let's see, I never heard of that one. That's a penny stock, my friend. I can't touch that. That's rule. I can't do that. I can't touch a penny stock. That's too much. There's not really much going on there. And literally it just gets popped up on a little bit of a pump and dump there. So I can't really touch that with a 10-foot pole. Okay, let's see here. Getting a lot of messages coming in here. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm getting some water. My throat is dry as the son of a gun. Okay, plug. Someone's saying plug. Let's look at plug. Yeah, plug is definitely one that has been running quite a bit. Again, this is like a really competitive stuff in the electronic stuff. Yeah, penny stocks is usually I don't touch them with honestly. That chick's named Tiffany. I'm not gonna comment on that. With plug, I like this chart here. It's kind of bouncing off that 50-day multiple times. We saw a bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, bounce here, and it just really kind of made a very strong V-shaped recovery each and every time here, and really looking forward to potentially break above 19 to head to 20, with the real target being above 26 there. Again, with earnings coming out, super mindful of that and be very, very, very careful when you start looking at those kind of earnings plays, because again, anything can happen. Ryan says Rocket. We talked about Rocket. Rocket, I think it's somewhat of a sleeper. With mortgages rates being so low, people are refinancing. Of course, millennials finally being able to purchase homes. I think they want to do it through an app and not really talk to anyone or do it the old-fashioned way. I think that it definitely can go up in the long run. I don't know about earnings. Okay, sorry. I'm having so many people come in today. I'm not used to all this pressure here. You guys are asking so many good questions. I see. We did AMD already. AMD, if it was really looking for some targets above 90, but we have some strong support around like 70, or sorry, AMD. We have support around like once like 74 or something like that. So 78 to $75 of support. We're really looking to potentially break above 90 for AMD there. Let's just go through these really fast here. We have Honey Badger 217 says Helion. So this one I got a lot of flack for. I said that it was potentially going to be going lower. I was starting to say that around 22-ish. It went all the way down to 18. Now we're seeing some potential support coming through here. We're having the moving average slowly curve down. I like this company. It sounds fantastic. It's much better than Nikola, in my opinion. But that being said here, if it holds this level here, it can pop without a doubt. But this thing really has had a lot of negative news. Probably maybe worth a small speculative bet to kind of get a move above these levels to potentially break above that $25 price target. Okay, you guys are coming in hot today. Whew. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, let's do PLTR again because I'm getting a lot of pings on that one. So PLTR again, this one has just been a run out of nowhere. Most people know who've been into this. I did point out, like, I think it was on the YouTube membership tab and then the Patreon page. I let the supporters know that I bought a couple, not many shares in this stock, just as a spec play. I don't want to say it didn't expect it going up, but I didn't expect it going up this fast. Like it really had a large move higher in a very short period of time. Like it just came out of nowhere. It has an earnings run, so it does have earnings coming out on the 12th. So we could get an earnings run up into this. Again, with the overall market being pretty lofty right now on the S&P 500, the futures market is saying it's up about 1.46%. The Nasdaq's up well over 2%. So this definitely could lift up the stock well above $15 in the near-sighted term. Just be very mindful and careful on when you start buying into something that are such high levels. And again, I think this could run higher, but again, I'm more of a longer-term insight on this stock rather than shorter dated calls like some folks are. Danny says, can we look at AYX? Sure. Again, if I missed your stock, I truly do apologize. I'm getting a lot more views than I normally do, so I appreciate everyone coming out. With this one, looks like, yeah, it doesn't look pretty. That doesn't look pretty there, Danny. They missed something on earnings, and now it's really getting pretty low here. We could be looking for, let me look at something here. Where's the low? Right here. Where's the high? Right here. Yeah, potentially some initial support, potentially around $13.29 or $113.29 there, or potentially down to 103. To be looking at there. Snap and NIO. We did NIO, but we can look at Snap. Snap, of course, Snap and Pinterest have really been some pretty crazy, impressive moves on earnings. Snap showing a profit, of course, had a larger than 2 deviation move and just really continue to carry this higher here and really looking for some potential targets around 46.95 to be some overhead pressure. But again, this thing can run without a doubt, and it can really run higher. Longer term sites are going to be looking for around $63 to the upside. Not sure when it's going to get there or if it's going to get there, but with such these large moves higher, it needs to kind of potentially consolidate here a little bit before we can get any kind of a better Fibonacci understanding of what's going on there. I saw something about Disney. We can look at Disney as well. So that's, again, a shareholder in that long term as well. So with Disney, this thing kind of has been kind of beaten around here a little bit. Of course, Disney's industries have been really hit due to the pandemic and the virus with, again, parks are closed, cruise lines can't go anywhere, movie theaters are closed. So everything has just really been struck down. Luckily, they have somewhat of a flourishing, growing business, aka Disney Plus, which is their streaming service. And if you haven't already, and you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't watched The Mandalorian, please leave the video now and go watch it. If you love Star Wars and you want a great series, please check out The Mandalorian. I don't think you'll regret it one bit. So anyway, looking back at the Disney stock here, we're looking for some strong support around 125. We had some shorter dated support to the downside around 116 to 115, but we're really looking for this to potentially go higher. Again, with earnings coming out, very mindful and be careful about this. Since I'm a longer term investor, I'm just going to sit back and watch how it plays. Would love to see it back up to 150. I don't think it's going to happen with what the current environment is sitting at here right now. So yeah, looking for the potentially to hold around above 125 to 116. Really looking for some next overhead targets and pressure around 137 to the upside there. Whew. Okay, guys, you guys are coming at me fast. Yeah. We did Tesla. What an Ariel. I agree to start selling t-shirts. Ariel told me so. So if anyone who's watched my video that I said my friend made was like 55K on NIO, that's it's Ariel in chat right now, so you can spam him. Ariel's, he's gonna come in her. Oh my god. Ariel, if you want to make a T-shirt said Ariel told me so, I'll wear it for a stream. Switchback. I think we covered that one. TLT, yeah, we look at TLT. That's an interesting play. So TLT is usually the inverse of the S&P 500. And I did see someone else also talk about the VIX. So we look at the VIX as well to kind of give you potentially some insights and understanding about that. With TLT, again, this is a bond ETF, so this is kind of the inverse of what equities do, aka the S&P 500. So normally I'm doing air quotes right now. If the S&P 500 goes up, this goes down. If this goes up, the S&P 500 goes down. Not always what happens, but it's usually kind of somewhat of an inverse of that. So with this one, with TLT really getting a huge move higher again, we're talking about bonds here. We're not talking about anything sexy, anything cool. This is something to be looking at for. Okay, Ariel, I wear an extra large. Extra large. And I don't like white t-shirts. That sounded racist. Okay, never mind. Okay, I'm not going to stop on that. With TLT, we're looking for this movement here. We're seeing that around 160, being some short-dated sign of support here, and seeing if potentially can go higher or lower. But it's kind of coming in here exactly around the 200 EMA here, and really seeing that showing some initial support there. That being said, knowing TLT, and with the strong move that we're seeing currently in the futures market, I think TLT most likely will go down tomorrow. I don't like to make that prediction, but with this overall selling pressure and this kind of a sloping pattern to the downside here, we can potentially see a break below 159 to 160. I think the next target will be around 155 to 156, and then all the way down to the 154, 55 level there. So something to be very well careful about there, again, if you want to be looking there. But we did have a really strong bounce off that 155 as well a couple weeks or a couple months ago. But again, be mindful of it, and we'll see how it goes. UNH. Look at UNH. Sorry. Everything's just moving so fast in the chat. I'm just kind of throwing here. So United Healthcare, of course, had a huge move higher. This has definitely been something to, because again, not going into politics, but again, if you have a divided democracy, so you have the Democrats and Republicans on one side, there's not really going to be much things passed, or there won't be large things. So what's going to be happening, what like Bernie Sanders wanted to basically just get rid of all insurance providers and kind of go to like a full coverage system. That's not going to happen. So United Healthcare is still going to be around and doing their own business. But this thing has, of course, took off due to once anything was projected of a mixed bag there, and really seeing a huge pop up there. I think this is a little bit overdone here. That's just my honest opinion here, because we're talking about UNH. We're not talking about a Tesla or an NIO here. So yeah, be very careful about that. Ray says BIIB. What is that? That sounds like a Biogen. Okay, so Biogen. Okay, what happened to Biogen here? They have earnings or something? Or they got a vaccine or something? So their Alzheimer's stock got approved or not, or something like this? What's going to happen here? So again, pharmaceutical companies, anything to do with drugs or anything like that, are very volatile stocks. As you can see with this stock here, this thing literally really kind of came out of nowhere. Very choppy, because again, you're waiting on certain trials that we could finish. If you can pass from stage 2 to stage 3 trials, and how the overall results are going. It's kind of a crazy waiting game and something I really don't want to be part of. But this is a astronomical move higher. Again, I don't think anyone knew this move was coming unless you were inside the business model. Yeah. Hey, if they can beat Alzheimer's, that's a win-win without a doubt. I think more people have passed away from Alzheimer's than that's a horrible disease if anyone has ever had anyone close to them have it. So very terrible. Not saying the other one isn't, but Alzheimer's flipping terrible. Very slow process. Ryan K says JFrog. Yeah, we'll look at JFrog. Is it JFrog? Is it J? It's just frog. Yeah. Ooh, what happened there? This one was kind of loved. Again, being somewhat of a newer IPO, very difficult to judge here, honestly. We are seeing some kind of we had the huge pop on earning or on IPO time, traded sideways, and then kind of sold off due to the market volatility. And now seeing that earnings come out and really it's kind of just basically trading where it was on IPO. If it stays above this level here, around $65, I think it'll be just fine, but we'll see how it plays out. Jamie says, did you check out TTD yet? No, we have not. Is that Trade Desk? Yeah, holy moly. Oh my gosh. Where was I at on this one? Oh, that's even on my watch list. Wow. What a trade though. What a move there. This is crazy. Like I can't summarize on the crazy moves that we've seen in the last 2 weeks. It's absolutely astounding. Especially last week. It's just been a roller coaster ride. It felt like it was a month, but it was only a week of trading and just market news. Holy moly, that great move here. With a large deviation move like this, potentially looking for around $893 to the upside, but initially looking for some support around $721 there. Dollar bill, yeah, we can look at AMAT. This is the Applied Materials, yeah. So Applied Materials has earnings this week, I believe, right? A huge move higher again into earnings, which is usually not my favorite cup of tea. Something to want to be kind of looking out for on seeing and on the semiconductors. Again, when the stock has a huge run up into earnings, I'm a little skeptical due to the fact of, again, is it already kind of baked in? Are people getting a little bit too ahead of themselves and things like that? Hey Ken, what are your thoughts about UNG going into winter with so many people working from home and not getting able to get out of the house? UNG. I don't know what that is. Let me see what this is. Oh, gas. Okay. I don't know. This is more of a commodity play, and I don't really do well with those. The chart's not looking pretty. It's really kind of selling off here. If it starts breaking below even that $11 and not getting above it, we're potentially looking for around $10 or lower. If it can start building a base here, now we can maybe see some moves higher, but with that squeeze that fired low, not really my favorite cup of tea there. Daniel says DWMX. Better not be a penny stock. Okay. Better where. Wow, what is this? Was this like a SPAC or something? I've never heard of this in my life. Has anyone else traded this or anything? Looked at this? This is a crazy looking chart. I'm gonna write this one down. I've never heard of this one. Wow. That seems that's a crazy looking chart. It looks really well, because what I mean by is, like, it's held the 21 EMA. It had that consolidation, moved higher, potentially going to have that move higher and then potentially come back down and consolidate. But that's a fantastic looking chart there if you're in that. Like, so congrats to you on that. Ariel says LU. What is LU? This looks like a SPAC play. That has definitely run quite a bit here. We can kind of put this down to like a 4-hour chart, but then I won't be able to get too much from it. Yeah, it looks like we're just kind of little moving here around that $13 range. Kind of intermittent here, but now again, huge move higher on some kind of news, probably some kind of CNT is approved bank for LoreFax until the holding one connect. I think, is this the one that you talked about being like a digital connective play? I think this is the one that you talked about. But that looks like that could easily run higher because again, it doesn't have too much volume because the volume's not even near what we saw previously on IPO day or the other day prior. But this definitely could run, again, be a little bit more on the speculative side on this one, without a doubt. And then you said Penn, core. Oh, again, I type. There we go. So Penn National Gaming, just like we talked about the DraftKings. This is going to be the casino stuff and the gambling fun stuff there. If you're into gambling, with the 5 and 8 crossing through the 21, we saw that huge sell-off. Now seeing a V-shaped recovery, we're seeing the 5 and 8 potentially going higher here. Honestly, kind of like this a little bit better than DraftKings because DraftKings kind of hurt me a couple times. But that being said, potentially looking for it holding here above $61. If it can hold above $61 and this trend can continue going higher here, which we're seeing that momentum switch from red to yellow, and we're not seeing too much volume coming in here, and the IV is really low. So this would be kind of somewhat of a perfect storm if we can get some cheap calls here and really get that price run up to $71 to even up to $76. So that actually would be a really nice trade idea for Penn there, Ariel. So if you wanted to YOLO that, you can definitely YOLO that if you wanted to. Wink, wink. Oh, it's a competitor to Ant. Okay, great. That's why it probably went up because Ant failed and the Chinese government just shut it down. BNX is one of the strongest CAs in Mexico. They pay dividends. Oh, nice. Dollar bill, we did PLTR. We did quite a bit already, and I don't want to be beating a dead horse, as they say. Ariel saying Penn is going to $100 by January 1. I'm sure everyone watches the guy who does the pizza review, so he's funny as hell. Penn, let me look at Penn here again. If Ariel, if $100 is a fib number, I would have to. Okay, it's not. Okay, so the fib number is basically the core targets. If it does not break below that $50 price target, the next target basically would be around $83 to $91 to the upside, Ariel. Yeah, Barstool Sports. Ryan says you. Yeah, we can look at you in a second. Cool Light says TTWO. Take-Two Interactive had a fantastic quarter and really ran up pretty substantially here. And seeing that potentially testing some targets around 180. Again, video game company. There are murmurs of the new GTA being released on some kind of trailer stuff. And that can really kind of come through and the stock can continue going higher, we're going to be looking for around 188 to around 198 to be upsides there. Again, a lot of these stocks are really recovering from the overall selling off and so forth. And then we look at Unity, which is again a game engine software company. Of course, this thing has just been phenomenal here. Move here. Bought into this one on IPO day and just kind of traded it. You saw it hold the 21 EMA quite well. Kind of came down here. I actually trimmed it around $100 and got out of it. Again, you win some, you lose some. I won some, but I could have won substantially more, and it had a huge run higher and just really bounced off that 21 EMA and just rocketed higher. A mistake without a doubt. But this thing is definitely wants to go higher. just be mindful. It does have earnings coming out soon on the 12th, and it's already running up quite a bit. I'm just a little bit skeptical on, again, what we talked about previously on these huge run-ups into earnings. I'm usually not the world's biggest fan of that. A lot of things can happen. Discord link should be in the description, my friend. I wish I got Penn at 5. Yeah, I wish I had Tesla at 50 cents or $10. Right? Everyone has those. I wish. Isaiah, we did NNDM. NNDM is something, again, I think is a very much of a speculative play. So NNDM is, I believe that it's a 3D printer company that's has a new secret sauce of printing things. Kind of came out. It was a penny stock, really ripped higher, traded sideways, ripped higher again, came back down, potentially wants to trade sideways some more, popped off the 34 MA and just really continue to grind higher here. Some key levels, if it breaks above 420, we can potentially see it start getting above 450 to $5 again to really kind of push up there. You can't win all the money. Exactly, Christopher. Good way to put it. Plato, what's up, my friend? You want to look at SEGE and SE. Okay, SE. Wow. Yeah, that's what a move there, right? SE has just been gangbusters there. I think you said you've been in this for a while, right? With this large move higher, really looking for some targets to kind of see around 191. To be some initial targets, but if that can continue and the 5 and 8 can really carry it higher, the overall targets could be around 213 and even higher from there. And then JM, we kind of covered that one a little bit. I'm a little skeptical on that one. I think you probably know much more of the fundamental sides than I would ever know about this one. This is the South African one, or the continent of Africa, like in Amazon, Ali, blah blah. With this large move already high going into earnings, I'm a little skeptical and kind of put on my caution hat, and potentially waiting to see if it can break above 20 with earnings coming out soon. We saw that previously, huge run into earnings and kind of had a drop. Again, I don't know why it dropped, if they just didn't give guidance or whatever reason behind it. But with the holiday season coming up, I think a lot of folks I'm not too well aware of the market in Africa, but I know North America, people are getting all hyped up there. And then last but not least, you wanted to look at GE, and this one has been a really nice move higher there as well. Really just kind of really getting some moves here going on earnings, really climbing and breaking out of its previous, no, it has not broken its previous high here. Again, this stock was around $13 before the virus. Now traded all the way down to 5, kind of bouncing around a little bit, potentially could get another move higher if we get some movement here. Let me go do a fib. Yeah, the 38.2 percentile move was around $8.45. It's going to be the next overhead sign of pressure. If that can break above that, we're looking for $9, with the key target being around $10 for GE there. Put it on a shirt, Ariel. Bruce says Piton. Yeah, Piton. They had a nice quarter just come out too, didn't they? Yeah, so this one kind of got beaten up here a little bit. This was like a market darling for a long period of time. Of course, all the gyms being closed, all that kind of stuff. Really seeing that move higher here, kind of coming down, sold off a little bit again to the overall market volatility, came down to the 34 MA, bounced here a little bit. Now seeing it kind of recover here with a pretty strong earnings coming out here. Again, I think that they are a pretty strong competitor in the overall industry. I'm not a working out kind of person, but I think it's kind of my metric of that. My office looks out a window here in my house, and I can just see the little black van kind of also just driving by and going for people delivering their bikes or their treadmills or whatever. So that's my metric on how if I'm bullish or not on it. But I don't have a position in it. But this is definitely showing some strong support around 34 EMA. That is a pretty key support level there. So let's do a fib here to kind of see where it could be potentially moving here. So that there, it hit that 133 level, but came it right back. As long as it stays above around that 124, 125, that could potentially build a base here and start making its way higher to around that 130 price target there as well. Let's see here. It's 11 o'clock here. I'm gonna need to get some more beauty rest here going forth, folks. You want to look at Upwork? Yeah, we can look at Upwork. Had a huge move, didn't they? Huge deviation move, breaking well above that $25 level. Initially looking for some targets around 30. If those can really hold, the 30, we're going to be looking for the next targets around 37. This thing has been a super strong move, and I can't tell you on how much I missed that one too. Yeah, Piton looks bullish, but again, there's some other stocks that have been a little bit stronger there. What's the best stock under $5 with upside? I don't know, Jay. That's a good question. I don't really follow stocks like that, but yeah, I don't. Then Bryce saying space, SPGE. With this one, this thing has just been beaten like a dead horse, poor space. I've owned it for quite some time with stock around $16 with some longer dated options. Really seeing that, again, that huge sell-off that we saw, even with the virus and everything going forth. It kind of had its little moves here and so forth, kind of having somewhat of an okay earnings. They're still losing money because, again, they're trying to do this whole new space travel stuff, which is not really the most profitable business as of right now, due to the fact of like no one's really doing it besides SpaceX. But again, they have contracts with NASA and so forth, and they're launching Starlink internet stuff. But we are seeing that potentially kind of sideways pattern here. As long as it stays above $16, $17, I think it's just going to be just fine. But with some stronger upside targets around 21 and then 25, which we've seen it hit quite a multiple amount of times there. I'm going to do a couple more, folks. Is Uber something you covered? I have not covered Uber, but I do like it. If Ariel's still there, he'll let you know on how much he loves Uber as well. With Uber, again, with the California law not being able to get the still remaining as a contract worker, had a huge red hire and once the pandemic and everything kind of gets done and over with, I think believe that Uber can go higher. I don't think anyone saw a move this large in this short period of time, but this is a very large move. It's basically hit its previous high here, if I'm correct, if I'm wrong. So the previous high is around 47. I think 47 is really the next target, with the really next target being around $50 there. So something to be very well mindful about at those key levels there. We did PLTR. PLTR, we covered multiple times on the stream. We talked about it again. Huge move higher. We have talked about some next overhead price levels be around $15.50, and the next price target be around like $19, nearly to $20 there. Everyone's saying look at SPY. So the futures market is really just going gangbusters. So we are very close on hitting all-time highs on the S&P 500, which is again, I don't think anyone thought of after the presidential election of something being able to go so high on such a amount of negativity around this kind of stuff. With this one, looking for some potential, again, SPY would have to, or the futures market would have to break above that 35.87, which is previous high. And I think, honestly, it might be the day to break it. I'm not going to call it, but if the S&P 500 can go higher here, that would be quite a phenomenal move, and it's going to be probably putting a lot of people on their back and keeping people flat-footed and really seeing how it plays out. NIO too high. I think NIO has more room to run, but I think it has maybe needs to take a couple breaths before it makes its next run higher. Be very mindful of the movements that we've seen before. Yeah, I think Tesla has a lot of room to run. I think Tesla has kind of been in that choppy mode, and with the QQQ and NASDAQ, the QQQs being the NASDAQ and the SPY going higher, I think it could really move things substantially higher. Rocket Mortgage, kind of the same thing, kind of been under pressure. As long as it stays above that $22 price target, I think it can go higher as well. OKTZ, that is Okta. So that is definitely what I haven't heard in quite some time, of course. Being the security field, this thing has kind of made these V-shaped recoveries before. With earnings coming out, they always sandbag on earnings. Every single time they just sandbag and they just don't really give the biggest glimpse of anything. With that move here, if we can get that 5 and 8 and some volume coming in here, we can easily get above 240 for Okta, please. But then also looking for some support levels around 217 to around 223 there. How do I get those Fibonacci numbers? I draw them. So I right click here, I hit I add a drawing, and I hit Fibonacci numbers. I go from the swing high to swing low. So next key level, like I told you, is around 240 there for Okta. Michael, thank you for the kind comments. I got to do a couple more. I see Datadog. It's a DD dog. This is one that has been really beaten up as well. Looking for that potential move here. Again, let me actually update this because I haven't done. With Datadog, kind of been beaten up, kind of like a Fastly kind of scenario. With this move, a large move lower, kind of getting a bounce here, potentially getting above the 21 EMA, which is we like to see. But we're seeing that 5 and 8 potentially cross through it. Next overhead pressure, or next target be around 106 to around a 111. If we can get any kind of movement to the upside, would be fantastic there. Corsair Gaming earnings. What is their ticker symbol for that? Yeah, Datadog is a little bit more skeptical play. It's somewhat of it was a fan during the virus and everything, but I think it's maybe kind of losing a little bit of love. But that might be the opportunity to jump in and kind of ride it higher. But I don't think I want to be taking that bet on that one, especially on an earnings play. Noah, do you think Rocket will be going up after earnings? In the long run, I think it's a fantastic play, but with earnings, anything's a coin flip, and I really don't want to be touching that. Corsair CRSR. Sorry, CPCR. Sorry, CRSR. Yeah, that's a fantastic looking stock. I actually like this a lot. Holy moly. It's a great looking stock. It's been holding that 21 EMA for quite some time. When does this have earnings coming out? I like this one a lot. That's a great looking stock. The 10th. If you're listening, Ariel, if you want to YOLO something, this might be a play right here. But again, like everything's going to be most likely up tomorrow. Again, the NASDAQ is up 2.5% as of right now. S&P 500 is up 1.7%. So these are pretty large numbers to the upside here, and these are like, this is a large move in the market, and we're really looking to break above some key levels here in S&P 500. So something to be very well aware about. I love RK. I love that stock just to own it. It's a very well diverse company, and Kathy Wood and her staff does fantastic. Do they have options? Oh, they have November. This must be like loot. Ooh, people looking for $30 for there. That's a lot of options activity there. Ooh boy, that's gonna be a spicy one. We'll see how that one plays out. That's gonna be spicy. We'll see how that one goes. I'm kind of more of a Logitech kind of guy because I own Logitech, so I'm kind of a little bit more more loyal to them. But yeah, that's my opinion there. Plato says, look at, is that Tencent? TECHY. Did I misspell that wrong? Is that, no, it's Tencent, right? You're talking about Tencent? Am I looking at this one right? It's not pulling that one up. Is it TECHY? Is that what I'm talking about? TECHY. It's not pulling that one for me, Plato. Yeah, Logitech without a doubt has had a large move higher again on earnings as well. Look at that. Like, holy moly guacamole. That was a large move. And you don't want to know the call options I have on that. That was a great move there as well. Why isn't that pulling on my chart then? TEC. TCEHY. Oh, it's TCE. Okay. Plato, I had I think someone else reported on it. Thank you. TCEHY. Okay, well, that's a strong play. Look at that chart. Wow. Whew. That's a strong chart. If you're in it, you're liking that. Me too, Plato. So I was reading the same thing you're reading. So with this thing is just a look. Yeah, this is a great looking chart. Going to earnings again. You know my opinions on earnings. I've been super skeptical on it, but this had a very large move to the upside. I know Kathy Wood and ARK has been buying this like hand over fist at times. I never understand with mechanical keyboards. I understand that people love the clicking, which I have a mechanical keyboard, but I need to get it actually silenced because a lot of people complain about when I click on the keyboard, they're like, I can't hear the microphone, blah, 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 blah. But anywho, folks, I want to thank you guys so much. I really do. Thank you so much. I want to go longer, but I really just can't. I really can't. I'm kind of falling here on some energy levels. Got to get the kiddo ready early tomorrow for the schools and everything. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun day tomorrow to see how the market's open. If you're a bull, it's going to probably going to be a nice fun day. If you're doing a bear, you're probably going to be feeling a little bit some pain tomorrow. So Mr. Bear, if you're on the chat today, we're all going to say a prayer for you, my friend, and wish you the best. But holy moly, this is definitely going to be an exciting week in the market. And we'll definitely have a lot of stuff to talk about come this week with some really key earnings as well, folks. Again, guys, thank you so very much again for coming out. I really do appreciate it. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great day. And we'll definitely be talking sometime very soon on the next live stream or in the Discord. You're more welcome to join, completely free down below. Again, guys, thank you so much. This is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.